Hey everybody, this is part of our full-length primetime podcast. You can check it out on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, YouTube, plenty more. I hope you enjoy.
We're going to move on into our last topic, and this one's kind of a fun one. I got this idea from Mike and Mike. They had Jameis Winston on today, and they basically asked him, and I'm going to throw it over to you, Brandon, for this question. Do you think quarterbacks coming out of high school that are choosing colleges to play for, should high school quarterbacks look for pro-style offenses to play for in college because that's going to set them up better in the pros?
I think it would be really helpful for them if they did that. I think it would be in their best interest if they really want to play professional football and they really want to be able to go to the NFL and be successful when they get there and have more of a fast track to success, then yeah, I would say so, because how many times have we had to be able to see a guy in college be so good and then come to the NFL and it's like, oh, well, he had a switch, because it's a, pro-style offense now. Well, my gosh, I mean, we've seen that so many times and they haven't been successful. So I think it would just be in the best interest of the player to be able to do that. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I think that makes the most sense.
With me, I feel like it's kind of like and I'm going to relate this to music, because all throughout my life, I was never a football player. I was always in the band on Fridays. It would kind of be like, hey, you know what? I want to set myself up to be in a professional band, so I'm going to go play an orchestra. Two totally different worlds. Or I want to be in the band, so I'm going to go join the choir. That's what it's like to me. And that's the spread compared to ProStyle, where if I am looking for a ProStyle team and I'm thinking I'm going to go to the NFL, I would think the ProStyle would set me up better than going for the spread. Because the one thing I'm going to throw out there, and I'll ask you, name the last Big 12 quarterback that you remember off the top of your head that is like, that guy did something. That guy was amazing when it comes to the NFL. There's only one right now that I can think of, and he's playing right now for my Vikings.
Vince Young?
Vince Young. Well, the dream team, I was thinking Sam Bradford is the only one I can think of right now. I mean, Colt McCoy, no, didn't do anything. Vince Young, dream team. I mean, Sam Bradford was one of those where it's like he actually started and has been relevant in the league. But, I mean, Case Keenum with Houston, they threw all over the place. I mean, name an Oklahoma State quarterback you remember doing anything in the NFL. So for a quarterback, I would look, if I'm thinking NFL and that's my main goal, I'm thinking I'm looking for a pro-style offense. However, the one thing that I'm going to flip this a little bit, if I'm a receiver, maybe you look towards the spread. So it's like, it's not one of the spread's bad, get it out of here. It's also something that can be different for position. Like quarterback, go pro, but maybe wide receiver, hey, I'm going to be able to get it aired out more so in a spread offense, show my skill. So I'm going to go to that kind of a college.
I agree with you. I think that if I'm a quarterback, that's what I would probably be looking for, especially if I really intend to go further and go to the NFL and be successful in the NFL. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that pro-style offense. But if I'm a receiver, I'm totally looking for the spread. I'm totally looking for the spread offenses. That's exactly what I'm looking for, because that's where you're going to have the most success.
Well, and it's one of those things where, I mean, now look at it to where the type of offenses you see, how many spreads do you see in the SEC? Not many. How many SEC quarterbacks go on to perform well in the NFL no matter what round they're in? Dak Prescott came from the SEC. I mean, yeah, he's got an amazing offensive line and probably one of the rookie of the year. If he's not the rookie of the year running behind him. Also behind that great offensive line. Can't stress that enough. But it's one of those things where I would think you'd want to go pro-style offense if you were a quarterback. However, there could be a thing where you're thinking, hey, you know what? maybe in these pro styles, there's guys there where I'm not going to be able to start. Maybe I can go to the spread offense. I can spread the ball around. I can show my big arm kind of a thing and kind of win a draft spot based on talent alone and then worry about the pro style stuff when I get there. Because the big thing that was brought up is now in college, we're seeing a lot of this. They're looking for the card. You don't get that. You're not getting that in the NFL. In the NFL, we see this. And that's what it is. They're talking to you in the ear, and they're giving you the play. You're not looking over for the card, coming back, and then snapping the ball. It's not. Chip Kelly's offense didn't work too well in the NFL. It wasn't terrible, but that's more suited for college. I don't know. What do you think with that? Like,
I guess I'm trying.
The play calling's different.
I guess I'm trying to think of now some receivers in
like Justin Blackmon coming from Oklahoma State. That's the one that pops into my head immediately.
I guess, and I'm trying to think.
Tavon Austin, another one.
Kevin White from West Virginia. Mm-hmm. I mean, we haven't really seen him a whole lot because he's been hurt. But then you look at some. I mean, Mike Evans. He came from A&M.
A&M was a Big 12 team that time, weren't they? When Mike Evans was there, or was that when they had just transferred over to?
Were they? I thought they were. I thought they were still the SEC.
I'm gonna look it up. You do some more.
All right, I'm trying to think. Well, you've got Kelvin Benjamin from Florida State. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Odell Beckham,
LSU.
But look at that. I mean, you just some of these guys I'm talking about, and I'm sure our listeners, our viewers will be able to go boom, 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 boom on us. But I'm trying to think of guys from the Big 12, and I'm just not thinking of them all popping into my head right now.
Like I said,
I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're a wide receiver and you want to be really successful NFL, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to look for a spread offense.
Mike Evans' senior year, they were in the SEC.
Okay.
So you're right.
Okay. I guess I think that it really comes down to the system that you're in. It also comes down to the fit of the coach. You have to be in the right system, which you may be in the Big 12 and just be in the wrong system for offense. Mm-hmm. You might be. But then again, I think that you could be in the ACC, you could be in the SEC, and it is just the perfect system for you to be able to thrive in. And I think that's what's important. It doesn't necessarily come down to, the Big 12, they're all offense, so a defensive player won't be able to thrive. Not necessarily true. I think that for something like that, it all comes down to system, which is why it's so important for coaches to be able to get in front of these players and these players to really believe in the coach and what they are going to do, which is also why it sucks so much when a coach then leaves and the player's like, now what am I going to get?
Well, and it's like the one thing I do think of is off the top of my head, Big 12 wide receivers that I remember, you've got Des Bryant, Oklahoma State, Justin Blackmon, Oklahoma State, Stedman Bailey, I believe he was Baylor, Tavon Austin, and Kevin White, West Virginia. And I'm trying to think, Michael Crabtree, Texas Tech. So those are the ones that pop into my brain right away that are wide receivers. But is there any, before we go into Swanee's final thoughts, is there anything with this kind of fun little topic with quarterbacks coming out of high schools and pro-style offenses that you think we didn't touch?
No, I don't think so. But I still think that it really is interesting because it really could just be different for everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think, like I said, I think it's really it's dependent upon the system you go to. And it doesn't, you could be in a spread offense as a running back, and you could still be successful because you could just be worked in that way. I mean,
Adrian Peterson did perform at Oklahoma. I don't know if you'd call Oklahoma a spread. I'd say, like, when I think spread in the Big 12, I'm thinking maybe Oklahoma State, Texas Tech for sure what they used to run was
they
definitely
got running
spread.
backs.
No, I don't even remember a Texas Tech running back.
I think that when it comes down to something like that, I mean, Oklahoma, they're spready. They're spready to me. But I do think that, again, it's kind of a case by case, situation by situation, which a lot of those things are.
Well, Brandon, before I wrap everything up, it's time for what we finish the show off with every week. Swanee's final thoughts.
Well, Ricky, I don't have a whole lot of final thoughts today other than my final thought.
He wants to go watch this game. That's what his final thought is.
My final thought is that the Alabama Crimson Tide are going to come away with another win, and I'm going to be really happy talking to you next week on the podcast. And you'll all probably hate me, but that's my final thought. I think Alabama's going to win. I already said it. Gave my prediction. You can make sure you check out all the videos that we gave our predictions in and our picks and everything like that on MVP. But I'm saying Alabama's going to get the win somehow, some way. Alabama's going to pull it out and get a big win over Clemson.
Well, and you guys are either watching or listening to this after the fact, so you guys can tell us if Brandon was right or wrong. But also, this is the first time Brandon really letting the true fandom out in his attire. No business cash going on for Brandon Swanson coming from work. He's coming in the Alabama Derrick Henry jersey, and I'm liking it, from Swanee here on the podcast. But thank you guys for either watching on YouTube or giving us a download on either iTunes or Blog Talk Radio. We really appreciate it. If you want to help out the podcast in other ways, make sure to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. I want to thank you guys one more time for listening to us today. We love talking to you guys about college sports. This is the last time we're maybe going to talk football unless it's NFL draft, because right around the corner, it's basketball season, Brandon. Got to get in to this basketball season. But thank you guys for listening and watching. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed a lot of emotion. If you want more, click this video right over my left shoulder. You will certainly not regret it.